If you are asked about the retirement age in the U.S., you might think it varies greatly depending on individual, and there is no one-size-fits-all retirement age. The age of 65 may come to mind as an average retirement age. In the United States, retirement age depends on financial status and obligations, preference of the individual, and other factors such as insurance needs. In China, retirement is not a personal choice, but a law created in 1955 that depends both on gender and work classification. China has a pension system in which many individuals utilize during retirement. After discussing cultural variances in the workforce and laws that affect the workforce, I decided to learn more about the mandatory retirement age and laws in China. Today I'm going to discuss the history of mandatory retirement in China, gender differences incorporated into mandatory retirement in China, as well as workforce classifications that determine the age of retirement in China. I will briefly explain the pension program that affects retirement laws, and finally propose changes to the mandatory retirement in China. I will give you a brief history of the retirement laws in China and reasons that they were created. According to uschina.org, the laws began in 1955 when life expectancy in China was low and the demands of the workforce were high. Employees contributed voluntarily to a pension system at a designated amount of their choice, and companies are then contributing a percentage to each employee. Employees then may draw out of the pension system based on the gender and work classification at a designated age and at a designated amount. Labor contracts are very common and expire as an employee reaches the mandatory retirement age. Businesses are stopped from hiring overseas employees who are at or near mandatory retirement ages. Now that you have a brief history, I would like to tell you about the age of retirement based on gender and job classification. Females who are in labor-intensive fields such as agriculture and factories have a mandatory retirement age of 50. Females in non-labor intensive workforce such as office work have a mandatory retirement age of 55. Males in labor-intensive fields have a mandatory retirement age of 55, and in non-intensive, labor-intensive fields, it's age 60. Now that you have seen how different jobs and gender affect the mandatory retirement age, I will briefly explain the important aspects of the Chinese pension system. According to pensionfundsonline.com, individuals can collect their percentage of the pension at the designated retirement age. This voluntary program is very important to many individuals. However, the pension system has become strained because as many individuals are retiring, there is a decrease in the input and an increase in the output. Now that you've heard about the pension system, I will inform you of proposed changes to the retirement age. The increased age of retirement has been proposed. According to weforum.org, the number of Chinese workers expected to drop from 925 million to 700 million. The changing workforce is a driving force into retirement age changes. Over the next years, the proposed changes include having employees work a few extra months per year. Now that you have knowledge on the complex matter of mandatory retirement in China, let's sum it up. Chinese retirement age is mandated by laws that were created for a workforce in 1955 that was driven by low life expectancies. The pension system is utilized by many individuals in a form of retirement income. However, it has become strained because individuals are reaching retirement age and drawing out of the system, and there is not enough input back into the system to maintain. The retirement laws are under consideration in legislative matters in China, and no concrete changes have been officially made, but they are planning on increasing the retirement age by a few months per employee per year. Thank you for your time.
Wait.